Welcome to the Unshackled Life Podcast. Real talk about faith, freedom, and following Jesus. I'm Dalen Woodard, and I'm glad you're here. Whether you've been walking with Jesus for years or you're just trying to figure out what's real in a noisy world, this space is for honest conversation, raw reflection, and truth that sets us free. Let's get into today's episode. About a year ago, it's almost been a year, in celebration of Leah and I committing our lives to one another for the duration, it had been 15 years at that point. Leah bought me for an anniversary present a spider. A tarantula. And I've spoken about it before. It's an orange baboon tarantula. The common name for it is Orange Bitey Thing. And the person who sold it to me, and it should be noted that while she got it for me for our anniversary, I picked it out. That's important to know. She wasn't trying to kill me. Let me know that this is not a beginner spider. And they're very, very fast. And they warned me that they can be very aggressive. And the bite is medically significant. That's how they put it. And I got it anyway. Because they're beautiful. And I shared a little bit about how I saw that later as a metaphor about how I am attracted to things that are dangerous. Things that kill me. Things that do me harm. You know, the beautiful things like sin. Okay, that was then. She's gotten a lot bigger. She was about the size of a quarter. She's much bigger now. She's still got a long ways to go. And a couple of weeks ago or so, my wife sent me a video of a guy who gave a list of the 5 worst spider bites in the world. And then he began, number 5, OBT, Orange Bitey Thing. And I went, oh, yipes. I knew it was medically significant. I knew it was bad, but I wasn't expecting you to see it on like number 5 of like the worst bites to get from a spider in the world. And I began rethinking things a little bit. Going, oh goodness, if I had realized that it was quite that medically significant, maybe I wouldn't have gotten it. Probably not. I probably would have anyway. But then I saw another metaphor in that sometimes we know something's a little dangerous, or that's not really a good idea, that's a bad idea, you know. Hey, sin will hurt you. Yeah, I know. It's dangerous. I'll be careful. And then when we get off in it, we realize and we find out later that however dangerous we thought it was, it's way worse. And that can be very scary, especially if we've been playing with it. But then a couple of days ago, my wife sent me another video, something that I have observed over time. And that is every time she's out on top of her little skull that I have in her container, it's an animal skull that she sits on sometimes while she's hunting. Every time I take the lid off that thing, she scurries down into her den, into her hole. And she waits to see if something gets dropped in or whatever. She runs and hides. And Leah sent me another video, and the guy's like, hey, this is known as one of the most aggressive and horrible, dangerous spiders ever. But what you will find is that most of the time, they're going to hide. They're very quick, and they scurry away, and they hide. And I got to thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, we can get real scared of the devil and of sin and the destruction it'll bring in our lives. The chaos. like I should be scared of that spider. And I am. I'm not going to hold it in my hand. Okay? That's not happening, ever. I've seen people do it. I've seen people hold rattlesnakes too. Just because they'll do it don't mean I will. But we get scared of what the devil's doing. He's dangerous. He's a roaring lion. We get scared of all the sin around us and the destruction it brings. But when Jesus is ours, when we are his, what he did on that cross changed everything. And now, when you have Jesus, it scurries away. It may be dangerous, it may be scary, but the truth of the matter is, he's going to flee. He cannot harm you in that. Now the metaphor falls apart there. It's just a metaphor, because the truth of the matter is, I got this spider, I had this spider, it's by my bed, I love this spider, and I feed this spider, and we don't need to be doing that with sin. I take steps to keep her from being dangerous to me, but I keep her and I feed her, and we don't need to do that with sin. Metaphor falls apart. But the truth of the matter is that we're scared of the devil when we shouldn't be. Because he's going to run away if you have Jesus. But at the same time, the enemy and sin are far more deadly and far more destructive and far more dangerous than we ever realize, even when we go into it with our eyes open. So we shouldn't play with him. We should just stick close to Jesus, because it's Jesus he's running from and not us. Because it's Jesus that is God wrapped in flesh, who came to do what we were always supposed to do and couldn't, didn't want to. And his body was broken and his blood was spilled and he died so that we could have life. And then he rose to show his victory. And that is why the enemy runs, because he is the sovereign God of all, creator of heaven and earth. He has defeated death and sin and the devil and the grave forever. And we can have that life and not live in fear. And we can have the freedom to have wisdom to stop playing with things that will kill us. So accept the freedom and the victory and stick close to the one who makes the enemy flee because of what he did on that cross. Thanks for joining me for this episode of the Unshackled Life podcast. If it encouraged, blessed, or challenged you, consider following the podcast and sharing it with someone you feel it might bless or help. Be blessed, and remember, when you fix your thoughts on God and build your thinking on the foundation of His truth, God fixes your thoughts.